2021, Dr. Rukmal Veerasinghe, and also Dr. Shashika Karya Peruma, and Professor M.D. Pushpakumari, Chair of the Business Forum. Dear Sir, Madam, please proceed to the head table. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is the time to pay a moment of gratitude to the University Mata. Please rise for the University Anthem of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. Sri Lanka Pinvarandirane Srinivasavu Mahaganagare Sri Jayawardhanapura Sarasariye Sri Namaya Rangavav Lomutne Kaduwe Siri Sumagul Samidun Nelivitiye Sorat Bandu Yatidun Vidikala Vidyodaya Vidu Bimadun Eliyen Divi Magasarasau Sri Lanka Pinvarandirane Srinivasavu Mahaganagare Sri Jayawardhanapura Sarasariye Sri Namaya Rangavav Lomutune Ayuktiyedi Vivadashili Asatyayedi Vicharashili Viya Sabhamed Samajashili Viyatun Vidaya Pogayavu Sri Lanka Pinvarandirane Srinivasavu Mahaganagare Sri Jayawardhanapura Sarasariye Sri Namaya Rangavav Lomutune Vidya Utpatadan Senta Vidya Utpatadan Senta Vidya Utpatadan Senta
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let us now move on to a short documentary representing the context of International Conference on Business Management.
Do you hear that? It's silence. It's not the absence of chaos. It's the peace you find from purpose. The purpose you find from celebrating humanity. The humanity you find from living to serve it. We've been silently growing for 3 decades.
Technical support in this new normal, a coordination of a lot of parties is required to give the ultimate deliverance of the event. There might be certain technical hiccups along the way, although we are not looking forward to it, and we kindly apologize for any inconvenience and also appreciate very much your understanding in this regard. Thank you very much. Proceeding on with the agenda, next it gives me great pleasure to invite one giant pillar behind the success of an year-long journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Rukmal Veerasinghe, co-chair of ICBM 2021.
Very good morning, all of you. Dear our Vice Chancellor, Sir, Senior Professor Sudhantha Liyanage, our Faculty, Dean of the Faculty, Management Studies and Commerce, Professor P.D. Nimal, Co-Chair Dr. Sheshika Kariyapperuma, Chairman of the Business Forum, Professor M.D. Pushpakumari, all the deans representing other sister faculties of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, Director PIM, Acting Librarian, Registrar, Bursa, heads of the departments, all senior professors, academic staff members, administrative officers, paper presenters, session chairs and reviewers. Our special invitation, based on our special invitation today, keynote speech is delivered by Professor Evangelia Petridro. She is from Sweden. All of the people today here, we are there to celebrate International Conference on Business Management 2021. The Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, proudly organized this event annually to showcase research findings, especially on business management, giving very good platform for the researchers, academia, to share their created knowledge as well as improve research skills of the academia. And as well as it is providing good opportunity to the industrial people to collaborate with us by sharing their experiences, especially through the business forum. And this year we have developed the case studies in order to showcase their successful stories during COVID-19 pandemic. So having the theme of the conference, Managing in Crisis, Brace for Challenges Ahead to Ensure Sustainable Growth. This year our theme is timely, important research theme for everyone here in the world. So we proudly announce that most of research studies are coming under this conference, aligning with our main theme, how to manage the crisis, especially paying attention on COVID-19 situation. You know that COVID-19 has triggered unparalleled devastation across the globe, causing business organizations to transform themselves to suit new normal. The Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce as the center of excellence in management in this country, being the largest faculty in the entire university system, we are proudly making this platform to create knowledge and share the experiences in the managing organization, not only in the private sector but also in public sector. We are the organizing committee, ICBM 2021, would like to warmly welcome to this event our Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Sudhantha Liyanage. Dear Sir, you are here today with us, behind the leader, giving the leadership for us. In all the ways, you cordially welcome our all invitation and supported us in very flexible manner. So thank you very much, sir, coming here to celebrate our inaugural session. We are warmly welcoming again our Vice Chancellor to the conference. Though our UGC chairman is not present today, he is also behind our organizational strength. UGC chairman, he was the leader for this ICBM forum twice in 2006 and 2012. So 2 years he headed this ICBM, and as well as he was the leader of the Faculty of Management Studies and Management for 6 years, and again leader for the university, being a Vice Chancellor there for another 6 years. So we proudly mention about Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga is also delivering his speech today online. I would like to welcome our great leader in the faculty, Professor P.D. Nimal. He supported us in every sense while making these organizing activities. Always he was very friendly and supportive to conduct our ICBM activities. So on behalf of our committee, while thanking you, we are warmly welcome, dear sir, to the conference. All other deans from the faculties, sister faculties, including Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Faculty of Applied Sciences, Faculty of Graduate Studies, Faculty of Medical Sciences, Faculty of Technology, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences. All the deans are warmly welcome to the event. We are highly valuing your presence here today to grace this inauguration session on ICBM 2021. And Director, Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. Dear sir, we are warmly welcoming you to the event. You are being our partner institution, support you always to conduct this ICBM annually. So we are highly embracing your presence here today, sir. Acting Librarian, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, presenting all the staff members of the library participating here with today. We are warmly welcoming you to our special occasion. Thank you very much for attending to the conference. All the senior professors of the Faculty of Management Studies and University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, and as well as other universities who are serving us as session chairs, reviewers, we are warmly welcoming all of you who are presenting physically as well as online for this special occasion. Our keynote speaker, Professor Evangela Petrido, coming from Mid Sweden University. She is also presenting online. So we are warmly welcoming you. We were waiting to welcome you to Sri Lanka, to University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, but because of this pandemic situation, we were not able to set that platform physically. However, she is there today online to participate with us, delivering keynote speech. She is the one who can deliver the keynote speech into the context that we are talking about managing in crisis, being the researcher, senior researcher there in the crisis and risk management institution, research institution in Mid Sweden University. So we are warmly welcoming you who are presenting online today. All our heads, unit heads in the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, academic members of the university, and as well as academic members who are joining with us from other universities, industrial participants, we are warmly welcome all of you to the event, being supportive as always to conduct this session, annual session, taking it as a strategic event for a faculty, being promoting research studies among the university community. And as well as paper authors who are the main core of the conference, paper authors who are presenting their papers today. We are warmly welcoming you and wishing you all the very best for your paper presentations today. And again, I would like to welcome all of you to the conference who could not be able to specifically mention the names. All are welcome to our event today. And again, I want to tell you that this is actually the situation where we also handle the crisis. So all of the team members, including Dr. Shashika Karyaparuma being co-chair of the conference, all my team members, they were the sailors of sailing this fish to the destination successfully. So you are also welcome into the event, and as well as thanking very much for giving us this opportunity to celebrate in grand level. All the people today who are making presentations and doing their research activities are promoted to continue their research future and join in the research work together with the industry. Being the researchers there who can create impactful research are appreciated, and we wish all the success for all of them. Thank you. We welcome all of you again to celebrate this event today, ICBM 2021. We expect even tomorrow you will be joining with us for PhD colloquium, Emerald Awareness session regarding the publication of research papers in index journals. And again, in the evening, we are conducting 2 sessions, Business Forum and SARC Leaders Forum. All the events are open to everyone. We can accommodate you to enter to the Zoom platform. So all are welcome to all the events. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to us.
Thank you very much, sir. And next, let me have the honor in inviting the Vice Chancellor of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, Senior Professor Sudanta Liyanage, to address this distinguished gathering.
Aibowan, very good morning everybody. Sorry, basically I have taken the slot of your Dean, Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce. Unfortunately, I have to attend to a very important meeting at the Ministry of Education at 9:30. So therefore, once I finish this presentation, I am going to leave this premises. Could you kindly excuse me for that? So anyway, the Director PIM, Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, the respective deans of all other 7 faculties, senior professors and all academic colleagues, especially at the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce and the other faculties. And also the members in the head table, including co-chairs of your symposium or the conference, and all the well-wishers, presenters, and the members joining through the Zoom. So I'm very happy to be here. I think this is your 18th conference. I think most of the conferences, I'm also a permanent attendee for this particular conference. So we normally branded your faculty as the best management faculty in Sri Lanka. That's basically I am experiencing that particular thing, because I will tell you this may be little secret. Last year the government has given only 550 million to our university. When we compare, at that time we had 15 universities. So in terms of the student numbers, we are the largest, but most of the time the largest portion is going to the University of Peradeniya due to some other reasons, because anyway they do have many non-academic and academic cadres, maybe almost double than us. So, but finally we are basically finishing the annual allocation by 31st December. I managed to get 1.5 billion. So that means extra funding of 1 billion to University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. Actually speaking, that is a great help from most of them are alumni of your faculty. So that indicate that you all are doing really well as a faculty as well as in the society. You all are doing really well. If I go anywhere, I can see most of the time the alumni of Sri Jayawardhanapura, and they all helping us. So in addition to that, UGC chairman also one of your faculty members as well as alumni of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. So therefore my life is so easy. In addition to that, during last 2 years, I was served as acting Vice Chancellor almost 2 years now, to 6th January 2022. I am completing 2 years as the Vice Chancellor, as acting Vice Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor. So my life also much easier because most of the time students were not in the university. So I feel I am the one of the luckiest Vice Chancellors. So I think I am the 26th Vice Chancellor in this university and maybe the most luckiest person because we don't have much issues with the students. So that is also a good thing. And the next year also they have allocated only 550 million rupees to us like previous year. What they have done was they have increased by 10% and they have cut down by 10%. So ultimately we are in the same situation. Right? We expect to get an additional 55 million, but they said because of the other reasons, so they have to cut down by again 10%. So therefore we are getting 550. But I know that next year budget, I really need 2 billion. So therefore we have to, all the deans and myself, so we have to find out how we are going to additional 1.5 billion money to our university. Especially the problem is with the 2 main buildings for the FHSS and FMNC. So that's really needs some money. And in addition to that, we are going to start the finishing work of the Faculty of Applied Science building that also need decent amount of money. So that's a story. So therefore, anyway, I think this International Conference of Business Management is one of the great event in our annual calendar. Because it's a very success story during last 17 years. So this is the 18th year. And especially I would like to grateful to the one of the greatest leaders we ever had in the management faculty. With great remembrance, I would like to mention the name of Dr. Hera. I think he is the person initiated this particular ICBM, and during, I think Professor Kennedy Gunawardena has elevated this particular program into the international conference level. So I think always our previous people are doing best for this university. So therefore our main goal has to be continue and if possible to go much higher position for all these things. So, and always, as I mentioned you all are doing wonders to this country, and especially I am very happy to see this PhD colloquium. So one of my greatest weakness is I believe the lowest qualification in all academics should have a PhD. So that is one of my weaknesses, I believe. So therefore most of the people are not very happy with that statement. I am not blaming any person. Even these days I am having some issues with your faculty members, especially regarding their leave positions and whatever these things. But I believe if you go for a PhD, you have to finish your PhD within 3 years. I have done that, and most of the people here, they have done that. That indicate the quality of your academic capability. That is also very important because we recruit only the first classes and second class upper division pass only. So therefore there is a competition among us always. We are having different ideas. That is very, very healthy. The only thing is, as leaders, we have to take all these ideas into a one and to find the best solution for present crisis. So what it is, and this time you all are going to talk about that particular theme also. So all these things are extremely important. So therefore, I think I would like to again thank Professor Kennedy Gunawardena and whoever the past PhD coordinators, and especially to Professor Lalita Fernando. I think now she has doing lot of work to improve your PhD program, and I am very delighted that I think from this year onwards we are collaborating with RMIT. So we have already selected 5, am I correct? No, 5 your colleagues at the management faculty to do their higher studies in Australia, RMIT. So these kind of things are extremely important because yes, we can do our PhD work in Sri Lanka, that is fine. That is a just qualification. But if you just go outside to or the other part of the world, they do have a lot of new things. The way their approaches, they are very different. So therefore, I think those experiences are extremely important, and I am happy to see that there are so many international speakers are connecting with you all, and especially because of the new normal condition, so that there's a new door open for all of us. We can very easily tap to other organizations without much difficulties, because earlier they have to come down to Sri Lanka, they have to spend a lot of money on that. So now just the connectivity, right? So then we can tap to any person, even Nobel laureates, so we can tap. If they are willing to participate, that is a fantastic thing. Because now we are thinking about how we are going to improve our ranking, international ranking at the university in the sector. So we have to think about all new strategies, how we are going to increase. Because now I think when we think about the PhD percentage, I think most of the faculties are working on that. That is a great thing. If 5 years ago, we never think about that. Even your faculty, FHSS, they all thinking on that line. When we are recruiting new people, I am very happy to get more PhD people in rather than very young person with the first class, because then we are suffering because of they take unnecessary amounts of leave. These days also I am having some issues with some of the young members. Always they need to extend their leave. I think somehow we have to stop all these things and ask them to come back to Sri Lanka. We have waited for good 3 years, sometimes 4 years, sometimes to 8 years. Still they have not done anything to our faculties. But still they are asking for more leave. I think so we have to talk to the Professor Sampath and the UGC. Somehow we have to focus all their studies to the academic thing and to qualify and come back to Sri Lanka well within at least 4 years. Right? So those are the issues. So anyway, I don't know, this is the best forum to tell this thing. So you know, I'm not usually not telling these things in many forums. So I am a commission member of TVEC. So I am the chairman of academic board NIE. So in addition to that, I am a member of presidential task force. So during last few days, we had many discussions about the new electoral reforms. One of our targets one of the main target is to promote the STEM education. In that idea, in 2013, we have introduced the technology stream. I was fortunate from 2013, I am working with the Ministry of Education, Department of Examination, and the NIE on that line. And I am the second dean of our technology faculty also. So now, after the introduction of technology stream, the shape of our GC advanced level percentage has changed. In addition to that, I think the previous government has done a fantastic work. They have introduced another stream called this was introduced for the school leavers. Right, there is another stream is there, right? So basically we have now 4 streams. Now very recently Department of Education, they have presented the new ratios of these 4 streams. So we'll leave it out the last stream. It's not a stream actually, it's just we are helping the school leavers to get some kind of a job in the market, because they are definitely not A-level pass or the O-level. They have not passed O-level, something like that, but they can stay with another 2 years at the school and they can complete many other programs, right? So then what has happened in 2013, the science share was only 25%. Then the commerce share was 30%. That will come up to 55, the balance 45 for the art stream. Now what is the present status? Still, though we have introduced this technology stream, still the art share remain as it is. That is 45% remain as it is. The science share remain as it is, almost remain as it is, that is 23%. Then the new share has gone to technology, that is 10%. What has happened? your stream, demand for the commerce stream has gone down. I think that is a bit alarming. That was not our intention. I have to tell you the truth. When we are introducing this technology stream in 2013, we thought at least we can attract 10 to 15% of the art student to the technology stream. So I think, so as the best faculty in Sri Lanka, the best management people in Sri Lanka, the academic management people in Sri Lanka, now you have to rethink about your strategies. Otherwise what will happen, now we are pushing very hard the ministry. Now we have a very big Ministry of Education, where you have a vocational education ministry, science technology ministry, and higher education ministry. There are actually 3 ministries plus education ministry that basically comes under one umbrella called the education. So all these 2 state ministries, vocational education and the science and technology education, so now they are basically giving more money for the STEM education. So within another 5-6 years time, what their target is to increase this 35% of share to minimum to 50%. So somebody has to suffer. Some stream has to suffer. If the more students are coming from commerce stream, that is not healthy thing, because our intention was science, technology and commerce to maintain at minimum of 70% and to bring down art stream to 30%. That not because of art is not good at the job market. So there are less opportunities for the art stream or the humanities and social science students. So therefore now we are changing the humanities and social science programs also. I think recently we have introduced about 10 new programs. We are going for a special windows, because I know what is happening at UGC, what is the way if we really want to tap. So we are working on that. And we have introduced IT, English, we are trying to improve their skills. So then it seems that your stream is going to be suffered. So then I think the time has come to do some kind of a popularization at the school level and also at the university level, how to catch the missed opportunities. These things are very important, because all are the people good in SWOT analysis and all these things. All are the people teaching us about the SWOT analysis and all these things. Now you better rethink. That's why I'm appealing from all the members. That is a bit alarming to me, I don't know. Right, I think it's a bit alarming for us, because we are, as a scientists or as technologists, we are pushing hard to popularize our own programs. Right? So I know that in 2013 we had only 13,000 students for technology. Now this year 42,000 students are sitting for GCA advanced level, out of which 35 students are from the first timers. So a huge number is coming from the first timers from the technology stream. That is attracting. And very soon we are going to upgrade the Hardy technological, whatever it is the thing, to at least to a university college level. And there is another institute at Katunayaka that is going to be upgraded. And the SLIAC also now attracting some children. So therefore the opportunities for the technology students are going to be more and more. So therefore I think I'm appealing from all my, especially the senior colleagues, you have to give the leadership. Because this is the largest faculty in Sri Lanka, and your faculty is bigger than 6 universities in Sri Lanka. So please rethink about the entire strategy during next 5 years. You have to rethink about your corporate plan. Try to introduce something new. Yes, I know that you are doing good work, but now, because other thing is I am a member of SCACA also. Now at 9:30, after every 2 years, so they are appointing new members. So this is my almost the 7th year I am continuing as a SCACA. SCACA means basically that is the governing council to govern the non-state institutions in Sri Lanka. So therefore I know what is happening in most of the non-state sector institutions like NSBM, SLIT, IIT. Then there are 23 institutions, so they are offering this thing. So therefore, now when the students are thinking about the higher education sector, so they think about, when they select the A-level stream, they are thinking about the opportunities at the university level. And my wife, everybody knows her, she is an ambassador to Russia. These days she is traveling in all the universities the Sri Lankan students are in. Numbers are unbelievable. right? In Russian, most of the Russian universities, minimum of 200 to 300 Sri Lankan university students are doing their medical degrees. Now, from today onwards, she is visiting Belarus. Numbers something like 2,000, 3,000. It's unbelievable. So therefore, what will happen if the students think that they have those opportunities, they may select these kind of streams. So that's why I am appealing now, fortunately or unfortunately, you may have cut down your external degree numbers also. I think to my understanding, we have to rethink about those strategies. This is, I am talking about this business, earlier it's called the business administration. Then even we have changed the name because there's a confusion among the internal versus the external to business studies. The earlier the numbers are something like 10,000, 15,000. I know that has effect to the your academic career. That is a different story. But now the numbers are going down to 2,000, 200, something like that. Now, basically we know that if we interviewed any commerce stream student in Sri Lankan school sector, what is their dream? Everybody wants to come to University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. So if I am in the forum, so I am going to be the most happiest man in this world. Because most of the children are telling what they want is they want to enter into the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. That is not happening in the science faculty. That is not happening in the medical faculty. That is not happening in the faculty of health sciences. Even the technology years that is happening, they select the technology faculty as a first choice. So look how many students are selecting our university, your faculty as a first choice. Give them more opportunities. Try to modify most of your programs. Rethink about what is happening in other part of the world. I'm not blaming you all. What I'm saying is, as a scientist, I can see something is not healthy for you all. So that is a small message I have to give. I don't know this is the best forum because all these things are happening during last 2-3 weeks. Because many times I was at the podium or maybe one of the speakers for this education reforms. So still I am holding as a chairman NIE Academic Board not to do unnecessary changes for this one. Otherwise they are talking about lot of things. Right? What they really want to is to introduce this university credit-based system to A-levels. I said, what nonsense, don't do it. So please continue these syllabuses, everything, but if you really want and if you think that these things are little too heavy, you can cut down by 10%. But most of the fundamental thing has to be in GC at A-levels. So those things, anyway, I am trying very hard, but all the others, they really want to change everything. So this is a small message to everybody because I was a bit scared about this thing because that is if something happened to commerce stream, so that is going to be affected to our university also. Right? The PIM, yes, even for the PIM, majority of the students are coming to PIM, that's also from the commerce stream and they have done their degrees in our university or all other universities in the commerce stream and very few engineering and science students also coming to you. So therefore, you also have as a director, have something to popularize this commerce stream. So therefore, I am appealing. I know that here we have a lot of fantastic people here. And some are the controlling chief examiners in most of the papers. That I know personally. So talk to your panels, set your papers in a better way. Don't go for a very hard papers. Now that is happening to chemistry, physics and mathematics. Right? Most of the time, 50% of the mathematics children are failing. So what is the purpose of, offering that particular subject to A-level? So I am fighting even at the examination department. Last year, somehow we managed to bring that into a 66% pass mark. So our target has to be 80% has to be passed in any exam. That indicate that the examination is good. If something less than 80% passing, that is something wrong with our setting. So we have to read. Some people may think that I am very biased to children. I really want to push all the children to pass. No, because now we have to rethink about our small days. How hard we pass this examination. How much work we have done. The same thing these children also doing. Right? So therefore, I think my appeal to all the members of the management faculty, dear members, I think please rethink about entire strategy of our faculty, future of our faculty. anyway you will get 1,500 children every year. That is not the case, because anyway we have 1,500 vacancies, so UGC will give us. Now, that is not my point. To get 1,500, we should have a pool of at least 100,000 children. So then we can get the best people into Sri Jayawardhanapura. Then only we can continue our, position in the society. Okay, and again I would like to wish the very best for coming today and tomorrow for your conference. I learned that there are about 107 abstracts presenting today with this new theme. It's called Managing in Crisis. This is also now what I have told you, also small crisis starting. So you have to think about brace for challenges ahead to ensure sustainable growth. Yes, we have to think about sustainable growth, otherwise we are all going to be fail in this society. So under the new normal condition, I am very proud as a Vice Chancellor, we have done wonders to this country. Our medical faculty, the management faculty, even FHSS, they are the winners during this new normal condition. Usually they were far behind to all the other faculties. Now they are fortunate to start their new academic term in January, early January. Now, unlike the engineering and medical, the Dean FHSs are fighting with me to get the list down. So that is a fantastic thing. I'm not telling that the others are not have done something. So you have to think about the opportunities. Try to get the opportunities and do your good work. Please continue your good work. And I hope that especially these young people here, right, you will present your case to the people. There may be a lot of people are listening, unlike those days when we are doing physically 1 or 2 members in the normally in the forum, because the next speaker is there. That is happening in SLS even these days. So if I go to any SLS sessions are having these days. So if I'm a E2 member, if I go to any chemistry thing, only 5 people, maybe 3 people there. The presenter, maybe the supervisor, the next abstract presenter and the supervisor, at least 4 people there, then the chairman, 5. So, but now we have another opportunity because there are so many people connecting via Zoom, online. So therefore, that is a good thing. So they may come up with new ideas. Please incorporate all these things. Don't get disheartened. Sometimes your abstract may be severely criticized by the society. That is good if these things are going to be happen. We have to think about then our strategies. So anyway, I think I have taken little time, because actually I have taken little time because I'm a bit scared and afraid about the current situation in GC advanced level thing. Don't get upset, right? So this is all the statistics, madam. I never, this is not anything I have presented. So that is the position in the today Sri Lankan, if you think about the school. And also we are going to have 1,000 schools, 1,000 national schools. So what will happen when we are going to reduce 1,000 national schools and upgrade some of the school into national school? Again, the people may think about the science and technology streams. So those are the things. So therefore, please, if you have any ideas, so I can also present to the ministry level or even to the president level. This is the way forward with some of the management and the business faculties. Very important sector in the society, right? Very important sector in the society, this business and the management sector. So therefore, again, I would like to thank the co-chairs and all the members and the guest speakers, international speakers, the young researchers for your contribution to this particular symposium. I hope that I can see further develop conferencing next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your presence and your words of wisdom and encouragement, which are of great value to us. Moving from that, let me be honored in inviting Professor P.D. Nimal, Dean, Faculty of Management, Studies and Commerce, to address the gathering. Dear sir, please proceed to the podium.
Thank you very much. And good morning to all of you, both physically as well as virtually presented. The Senior Professor Sudanta Liyanage, the Vice Chancellor, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. And in fact, today I would like to extend our thanks to VC for revealing a lot of information and giving us that alarming signals. And among all, revealing that secret, and that we have got more money due to the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce in front of all the deans is a very good news for the management faculty. And keynote speaker, Professor Evangelia Petrido, Professor in Public Administration affiliated with the Risk and Crisis Research Center at Mid Sweden University, Deans of other faculties, Director PIM, Dr. Kalum, and heads of departments, professors, lecturers and other academics, and academics from other faculties, registrar, bursa, librarian, and executive and non-executive members of the university, the co-chairs of the committee, members of ICBM 2021, peer reviewers, track chairs, and presenters. Ladies and gentlemen, first I would like to express my gratitude to the organizing committee of ICBM 2021 for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words today. Thank you very much, Dr. Rukmal Veerasinghe, Dr. Seshika Karyaperuma, co-chairs of the conference, and the ICBM team members for your commitment, dedication, and untiring efforts to make this event a success. As you are aware, the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce is the largest and most sought after management faculty in Sri Lanka, and it is considered as the center of excellence in management education in Sri Lanka, though we are facing some challenges today. So it is the 18th consecutive year that we host this international conference, which provides a platform for researchers to present and deliberate on their research findings in front of a well-known academics, professionals, and scholars around the world. So this is a challenging period where this COVID-19 pandemic has made a huge impact on almost all aspects of our life and has changed the way of doing things. Even we were forced to have this conference through the hybrid platform. The theme of the conference in this year is Managing in Crisis, Brace for Challenges Ahead to Ensure Sustainable Growth. So brace for challenges ahead to ensure sustainable growth. So I was wondering what to speak today. In fact, I ended up with a topic to discuss today. So I would like to speak a few words on one of the major challenges for researchers to ensure sustainable growth. To ensure sustainable growth. When we search for the truth to make decisions to overcome a crisis. Before my speech, I would like to start with a short, interesting story and raise a question. This story is extracted from a film, A Mad Person. In fact, today, in soft language, is a person with mental disorder, meets with a friend and tells a story and asks a question. He said, in each of us, there are two dogs, a black dog and a white dog. The black dog is dishonest, unreliable, unethical, and bad. The white dog is good, honest, reliable, and ethical. So these two dogs are always fighting each other. So can you tell me who wins? Is it black dog or the white dog? Can you guess? Okay, you can think of the answer while listening to my speech. In fact, I read an article published in Forensic Sciences Research by Ricardo Jorge Diniz Oliveira, published in 2020 June. The title of the paper is COVID-19 Research, Pandemic versus Papademic. Pandemic versus Papademic. Integrity, values and risk of the speed science. Values and risk of speed science. The study reveals the concepts related to scientific integrity at a time when science faces important challenges related to the increased number of articles produced regarding COVID-19. The coronavirus has ignited another parallel viral pandemic, the papademic. In fact, everyone knows the cost of academic and research misconduct. Several reports of academic and scientific fraud, in fact, again it is academic misconduct today, not fraud, have been disclosed in scientific publications such as Nature, Science, and on several electronic sites such as Retraction Watch and PubPeer. Nevertheless, the number of cases of misconduct disclosed represent only the tip of the iceberg. For example, a detailed review of 2047 research articles indexed as retracted by PubMed revealed that only 21.3% of retractions were attributable to error. In contrast, 67.4% of retractions were attributable to misconduct. The structural and organization principles, procedures and systems, as well as individual misconceptions and misconducts, such as publish or perish, aphorism, publish at any cost, and publication fever may have led to this misconduct. If you think of the possible consequences of scientific misconduct could be to the researchers, research participants, institutions, and the society at large. For instance, Science 2018 reports that from more than 60 scientific studies of Yoshihiro Sato, who alleged to have committed suicide later, 60 scientific studies were retracted due to academic misconduct. This race for scientific publications is certainly will not benefit the society if they are weak or inaccurate. The truth is that the scientific research has changed the world. But now, and more than ever, it needs to change itself. A pandemic with a papademic will be even more complicated to manage if it progresses in an uncontrolled manner. The flawed or misleading science can spread panic and may make a crisis worse. Therefore, the fight against research misconduct is needed more than ever, and it is the responsibility of the research community. Thus, I would like to request from all of you to have serious debate on this papademic in crisis and its impact on sustainable growth. Yes. In fact, you might remember the question that I raised at the beginning. Please recall that. I did raise a question at the beginning, the question of the mad person. Which dog will win? Is it black dog or the white one? The most of you may think that it is the black dog. considering our current society where bad prevails over good most of the time. And we believe that we can't change the system and the behavior of people. But the answer of the mad person was that the winner would be the one that you feed more. The winner would be the one that you feed more. If you feed the black dog, then it will win. Instead, if you feed the white dog, it will win. Now you might consider me a mad person for suggesting this. Even though it is easy to go with the flow and turn a blind eye towards the misconduct in research, we must all take a firm stance to feed the white dog in us and refrain from such misconducts while discouraging those who do. That is to say, if all researchers as individuals and as a group refrain from scientific and research misconduct, there won't be a pandemic or papademic. There won't be a papademic in a crisis, regardless of what kind of a crisis we are faced with. Could it be economic crisis, financial crisis, or even a social crisis? I understand that is a big challenge, and to achieve this, we have to develop organizational structures, policies, procedures and systems that provide a conducive environment to encourage and motivate researchers to maintain scientific integrity, and have to discourage and penalize researchers that engage in scientific misconduct. So regardless of how challenging this process is, it is a must. If we are to achieve sustainable growth. Therefore, let us work together in order to overcome this papademic in crisis. So finally, I would like to thank you all for listening and hope that you all, the participants, either on site or online, will have fruitful discussions and deliberations on your research findings throughout these 2 days. So I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your inspiring words. Yes, next, I would like to introduce the next speaker of the today's inauguration. He is none other than the Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga, Chairman of the University Grant Commission, who has been always a great pillar behind this International Conference on Business Management. Though he is not here today due to the busy schedule, but the Senior Professor will be joining the conference via the online platform. With that note, I cordially invite the audience to listen to the Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga sir's message to the inauguration ceremony of the ICBM 2021.
Chancellor, Professor Sudanta Liyanagi, Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, Professor P.D. Nimal, Deans of other faculties, academia, participants from industry, registrar, bursar, librarian, and other officials of USJ, co-chairs of ICBM and their team, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me thank organizers for inviting me to say few words at this memorable occasion. ICBM is a pure product which was invented by academics of this great faculty called Management Studies and Commerce. The faculty history goes back to more than 60 years. Before 50 years, this great faculty have offered Master of Business Administration. That is just after 10 years of Chicago MBA. So in the region, this great faculty records as offering the first ever MBA. So like that, many additions have taken place during past few decades. So ICBM history goes back to 18 years, and this year the faculty is going to celebrate the 18th conference. So congratulations, ICBM co-chairs and the team for having internationally flavored, very high standard conference. One of the most important objectives of the conference is to make a bridge between academia and the industry. Just by looking at the papers going to be present in this ICBM shows clear evidence of trying to ease off this gap between two places. So today in the industry we are talking about 4.0 innovation, or simply the human interaction with cyber-based activities. So this is going to be a new area for research as well. So far in management, we have studied the human interaction in business. But today, the 100% automation is available and happening in front of us in business. So, very interesting area to study this interaction, cyber interaction with human capital in future is very, very interesting. With the new invention of small micro chip in year 2000, trying to create a new world in the history. In 60s with computers, which we refer as third invention or the 3.0 industry revolution, which is now we have the 4.0 industrial revolution, created the IBM or the International Business Machine, and created a long history of increasing productivity of human capital, and this has now become a common everywhere. Without computers, there is no future. This microchip is going to take all of us for the next 3 or 4 decades future in development. So this is going to be the starting point, and another 40-50 years we have to live with this high automated system. You don't need showrooms. You don't have to bear up with such huge cost elements in business. You can have a storeroom. You can have a store. According to the orders that you get, you can easily distribute your products. This is not experienced earlier. Large supermarkets, large display stores are not needed now. So everything now locate on your laptop. Just by your smartphone, you will be able to get whatever the product or the service you want. It's kind of a machine to machine business today. If you program your refrigerator will alarm you what you need. It's basically, say, food. Through your smartphone, you will be able to order all the stuff that you want, which your refrigerator alarm you. So chains like Amazon, they are leading this business in US, and they provide you the stuff that your refrigerator ordered to your doorstep. So like that, so everything will become very easy and simple as well. But this may create a lot of problems in future. So these are the areas actually we have to consider. So as a nation, we cannot avoid technology. Our biggest problem is, for an example, employment. So if you are not 100% automated, it is easy to provide you jobs. But today the challenge is, you can find a place if you are efficient than a machine. So far we have competed with human, but today we have to compete with machines. So total business sector is changed, the atmosphere, and this was changed rapidly because of this pandemic situation. Work from home is not the culture that we were used to. But this is happening today in Sri Lanka. All academics deliver their classes, lectures from home. Even though we have examination branches in universities, the person who is delivering the lecture or the person who is setting the paper need to become individual examination branch for the delivery. So like that, so things are going to be changed rapidly. So I don't want to take much time. Thank you very much again inviting me. Great to see all giants in business in the forum. And also congratulations to the the faculty, especially to co-chairs of ICBM and their team, who have done a tremendous work to keep the momentum of ICBM in a very, very high standards. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining with the conference today and always accommodating the requests of the faculty as you have always been. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom and encouragement. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we would also like to make a small reminder that today's event is, in addition to being physically held, being live streamed on Facebook. So we kindly invite you to join with our live stream on Facebook, and also you can pass on the message to all your colleagues and friends to join with us on the live stream as well. And as we have mentioned at the beginning, we are happy to say that so far everything is going great. And although you are seeing the physical output of the conference, most of you are joining with us virtually at the comfort of home, and a part of you are joining with us physically today, there is a huge effort from a set of people who are working very hard behind the screens, which often goes unnoticed to all of you, but we would also like to make it a special remark here that we always appreciate the effort put forward by our technical team to work their best to deliver a smooth output of the conference. Having reminded that, we invite you to stay connected with us until the end of the event. And now, moving on to the key highlight of today's agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to make way to the keynote speech. Professor Evangelia, are you here with us? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You should be able to see me, I hope, soon.
Yes. We would also... yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. You are loud and clear, and also the line is coming through very well, Professor. We would like to make a small introduction about yourself for the audience here so that they get to know about your profile. So, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Evangelia Petridou is an assistant professor in public administration affiliated with the Risk and Crisis Research Center at Mid-Sweden University. Her research focuses on policy studies with a specific theoretical interest in theories of the policy process, networks, and entrepreneurial agency. Her empirical interests center on crisis and emergency management. She defended her dissertation titled Political Entrepreneurship in Swedish towards a re-theorization of entrepreneurial agency in January 2007 at Mid-Sweden University. She has continued to theoretically and empirically explore entrepreneurship in policy and politics. She has also published in Policy Studies, European Policy Analysis, Journal of Contingencies and Emergency Management, Politics and Policy and Society. She was the co-editor of Entrepreneurship in Polis, Understanding Political Entrepreneurship, and the special issue in Safety Science titled Risk and Uncertainty from Critical Thinking to Practical Impact in 2020. She is also the principal investigator for the project Putting Out Fires, a multiple streams analysis, using the multiple streams approach to understand policy change at the local level in Sweden. She is a reviewer for a host of journals as well as formas. She was the recipient of the Royal Skånska Society, a Royal Swedish Scientific Academy, and was prized for Accomplished Junior Researcher at Mid-Sweden University in 2020. We are indeed honored to have you here with us, Professor. Can you hear us? I would like to call
Yes.
Great. I would like to hand over the session to you.
Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. I will start by sharing my screen. Let's see here. All right. Thank you again for this great introduction. And dear conference organizers and participants, And especially, I would like to start by thanking my colleagues at the University of Sri Jayewardenepura, especially Rukmal Virasinghe and Lasith Gunawardena, for inviting me to speak with you this morning. It is a great honor to be here, even digitally, and share my thoughts with you. And perhaps I will start by the elephant in the room that was mentioned also by previous speakers, and the reason why I'm sitting, or rather standing, in my living room in Sweden at minus 15 degrees Celsius outside, talking to you quite early in the morning, but that's okay, instead of being in Sri Lanka, which is not so okay. It is true then, if tried, to assert that the pandemic crisis has impacted in varying degrees the entire world's population, and it has resulted in a reassessment of a variety of concepts we took for granted, even if we did not reach consensus when it came to what they mean. And here I mean, I'm talking about things like globalization, sustainability, growth, crisis. So perhaps my first task in this keynote speech, as speakers before me did, is to unpack the theme of the conference: managing in crisis, bracing for the challenges ahead to ensure sustainable growth. And I will start by managing in crisis. This may mean that managing is in crisis, or it may mean to manage something during a crisis. And I argue that both may very well be true. What is more, bracing for the challenges ahead to ensure sustainable growth, I argue, may mean how we can approach management in a way that promotes preparedness for the challenge ahead. In other words, how we can approach management from a resilience perspective. And I will tackle this from the approach that I know best, which is the discipline of public administration. The implication of this is that I will talk about public management, or rather public governance, with an emphasis on governance, not on government or the state. And I will say here that I agree with the definition of governance, or rather the definition of public governance, defining it as how an organization works with its partners, stakeholders, and networks to influence the outcomes of public policies. So, and this good governance approach raises, it's good to have in mind when we think about how to move forward. And it raises several dimensions and several issues: stakeholder engagement, equity, due process and fair treatment, ethical and honest behavior, transparency, accountability, sustainability. And of course, you recognize some of those concepts in the conference theme as well. At the same time, these are concepts that we tend to neglect during a crisis because they are not deemed important. As an example, growing COVID-related research has focused partly, at least in social sciences, which is what I know, has focused partly on structural and persistent social cleavages that have resulted in different segments of the population, which are being unevenly affected by the pandemic. Targeting these inequities requires a long-term response at the community level, including constructing a continuous dialogue on the role of public administration and equity in health policy, monitoring health disparities, paying attention to scientific knowledge, investing in addressing health needs at the local level, facilitating access to healthcare, bolstering the infrastructure of community health workers, and generally daring to integrate social equity in policy planning by taking into account the needs of all population groups. And that doesn't even tackle equity, or rather lack of equity, at the international level. A segment of the literature has also focused on strategies for effective crisis management, including leadership skills, mobilizing societal actors and politicians, building and maintaining networks, and learning from the experience of previous crises. Managing in ways that disregard equity, transparency, fair play, and accountability because we are in crisis puts the act of managing in conceptual and normative crisis. So if we have learned anything during this creeping, protracted crisis, is that the lines of managing a crisis and managing in or during a crisis blur. Things become even murkier when we take a long-term perspective to manage with resilience in mind. The most fruitful way to respond to these challenges is to do it collectively. Attempt to solve common problems with collective action. In other words, take a public governance approach. So in this address, I tease out the dimensions of good governance, public, but applicable to non-public settings as well, governance, that can facilitate the handling of crisis in the long-term perspective of with sustainable growth in mind. More specifically, I lay out the fundamentals of a relational, inclusive approach as the most fruitful way to work towards resilience in organizations as networks of stakeholders work together for the public good. I begin by arguing that in the third decade of the new millennium, managing takes place in the background of some crisis or another. So much so that operating in such a context becomes normalized. This is true for public and private organizations alike, in Western and non-Western countries. To refer to the example with which I started, managing an organization during a seemingly never-ending pandemic is both business as usual and a balancing act. Organizations are dealing with severely disrupted supply chains, a paucity of qualified personnel, and rapidly altering regulations. Public organizations in particular must be able to provide public goods to citizens regardless of an unfolding crisis. A failure to do so can turn a situational crisis, a crisis of which the culprit is exogenous, to an institutional and in turn a political crisis. The latter can be proven catastrophic for the public sector and the safety and security of the state. Recent research in which colleagues and I have been involved examined decision-making structures at the municipal level in Sweden and revealed that resilience rests with an organization's ability to absorb as much of the stressor as possible without resorting to emergency solutions. Being flexible and inclusive, though at the same time having effective leadership in place. This is not necessarily a novel statement, but I would like to elaborate on it from the perspective of the public organization by outlining a governance perspective. So governance is a term that became popular in the 90s. It was born out of historical sensibilities of that era. Governance conveyed really what Francis Fukuyama famously proclaimed at that time, that history has ended. At the same time, manufacturing jobs in the West had been on a decline since the end of World War II, really, while great society sweeping public programs were becoming increasingly expensive. This was the case even in traditionally advanced welfare societies, like Sweden, for example, which experienced a deep recession in the early 1990s, and that was manifested mainly by a severe real estate crisis. And I must note here, of course, that the West is not monolithic. The country that I come from, Greece, despite EU membership for the past 40 years, is still characterized by a cumbersome, oversized, and highly inefficient public sector, where positions are used for political patronage and clientelism reigns supreme, unfortunately. So the bottom line is that governments can no longer, and some would argue should no longer, provide all public goods to their citizens. Current problems, such as climate change and reducing disaster risk, are so wicked, complex, and expensive that it becomes increasingly irrelevant for governments to act unilaterally. And I say irrelevant because not only it becomes expensive for the public sector to be the sole producer of public goods, but it also probably lacks experience. Now, I'm not advocating that markets take over. I'm a political scientist, right? So that's not the case. What I'm saying is that a governance vis-a-vis a government perspective examines, and it's built upon, the interplay of institutionalized relationships between state and society, and attempts to solve problems through the mobilization of public and private resources. A broad definition of governance refers to political steering. Purposeful attempts are coordinating individual action in order to achieve certain policy goals, as Kneel and Towson remind us. This may include hierarchical or non-hierarchical arrangements, public-private partnerships, patterns of steering in the public sector, or public entrepreneurship. And now I would like to focus on two concepts: public entrepreneurship and the form of public-private partnerships, university-industry collaborations. I will start with public or policy entrepreneurs. These terms are used interchangeably. And this is material based on a recent article that I co-wrote with a colleague in Australia, Mike Mintram. So the concept of the public or policy entrepreneur took off in the 1980s. Political scientist John Kingdon wrote a book, Agendas, Alternatives and Public Policies. So since then, the literature on the subject has exploded. Public or policy entrepreneurs are energetic actors who work with others in and around policy-making venues to promote significant policy change. For centuries, entrepreneurs have been considered salient societal actors because their innovative actions disturb economic and social equilibria. The variety of influences exerted on the concept of the entrepreneur by researchers working for different disciplines and applying their distinct disciplinary assumptions has contributed to the concept's richness, versatility, and occasionally stretching. In the past few decades, while endeavors have continued to improve our knowledge of entrepreneurs in market processes, efforts have also been made to identify and describe entrepreneurial actors elsewhere in society. We talk about social entrepreneurs, idea entrepreneurs, policy, public entrepreneurs. The claim driving these new explorations is that those who promote innovation in the world of politics, in policymaking processes, and within specific institutions and organizations frequently resemble entrepreneurs in the marketplace. Indeed, common dispositions and actions can be found across entrepreneurial actors, no matter where they're operating, or whether they're operating in market settings, political and government settings, or social and community settings. Political scientist John Kingdon memorably said that policy entrepreneurs could be in and out of government, in elected or appointed positions, in interest groups or research organizations. But their defining characteristics, much as in the case of the business entrepreneur, is their willingness to invest their resources, time, energy, reputation, sometimes money, in the hope of a future return. So when political scientists first started noting the presence and actions of policy entrepreneurs, the portraits were sketchy. Much about why they appeared, when they did, why they took specific actions was rather mysterious. Political scientists Mark Schneider and Paul Teskey in the early 90s, frustrated by isolated sightings and descriptions, devised a research designed to transform the notion of the entrepreneurs from the study of heroic figures to the study of a larger class of individuals who help propel political and policy changes. I'm sure you will recognize this in market entrepreneurship as well. The theoretical narrative regarding policy or public entrepreneurs focuses on the commitment to a policy solution, the multidimensional strategies they use to promote that solution, and a suite of attributes and skills underpinning their actions. Policy entrepreneurs reveal themselves through their attempts to transform policy ideas into policy innovations, and by doing that, disrupting the status quo of policy arrangements. This distinguishes them from many interest group leaders for whom maintenance of current institutional settings and power relations is paramount. In studying the political work of policy entrepreneurs, we can gain insights into what it takes to promote significant policy change. So for some years now, scholars have explored strategies adopted by policy entrepreneurs to advance their advocacy activities. Relevant studies have employed a variety of research designs, and now we understand that policy entrepreneurs work at problem framing, team building, and networking, leading by example, and exploring ways to scale up change processes. Policy entrepreneurs can often advance their goals through careful interpretation and portrayal of the current situation. Such actions, broadly construed as problem framing, are always political. And I argue that's the case in non-political settings as well. It's still a political action to frame something as A or B. They involve assembling new evidence and the making of novel arguments, all with the intention of changing political alignments and hence the status quo. Team building is also crucial for policy entrepreneurs. Through careful construction of teams, it is possible for an entrepreneur to find effective ways to leverage the knowledge and skills of others towards a common goal. The logic of team building also extends to developing advocacy coalitions or working with existing ones. Policy networks in general, as repositories of knowledge, know-how, and professional gossip, can be vital sources of information when it comes to entrepreneurs. Knowing how to effectively tap local and broader networks can do much to help policy entrepreneurs to advance their advocacy efforts. Engagement in cross-jurisdictional networks can help policy entrepreneurs amass the kind of evidence they need to convince decision makers that a proposed change is attractive and effective. Risk aversion among decision makers presents a major challenge for actors seeking to promote significant policy change. In response, policy entrepreneurs often take actions intended to reduce oppositions to change. And this is what we mean when we say that they can show leadership by example. Entrepreneurship has the potential to inject innovation in the production of public goods and services. So entrepreneurial strategies such as network building, mobilizing resources, and being able to lead others towards a common goal can enhance resilience through encouraging the participation of a multitude of stakeholders. Recent research I conducted with my colleagues Per Becker and Jörgen Sparv in 3 municipalities in southern Sweden. 2 municipalities in southern Sweden. We found that a policy or a public entrepreneur working at the municipality was able to shift the issue of flood risk mitigation from a technical issue to a broader social issue. And she was able to do so by exhibiting high levels of credibility, showing that you have what it takes to do the job, and sociability, being sensitive to the needs of others, understanding where they're coming from and what they need. The focus of this and other recent research I have been involved in has been of relational nature, that is focused on relations rather than actors or institutions. Such an approach, a network approach, is different to an attribute-based research because it privileges relations among individuals or groups rather than their attributes. It's not that attributes are not important, rather a network approach often finds that the attributes of actors and institutions may be contingent on their position in their network. And now I will talk about the project that our colleagues at Sri Jayawardhanapura are participants in. Because it's the approach we take in the project Strengthening University Enterprise Collaboration for Resilient Communities in Asia, the acronym is SECRA. So the overarching name of the project, of which colleagues again at Sri Jayawardhanapura, University of Ruhuna and University of Peradeniya are integral parts, is to contribute to more resilient communities in Asia through institutionalized, systematic, monitored, innovative, and inclusive university enterprise collaborations. And again, remember I talked about those different aspects of governance, including a multitude of stakeholders in collective processes is paramount to this. We focus on climate change action and disaster resilience. We take a networked governance approach in this project, working under the assumption that mobilizing public and private resources through networks between universities and enterprises, we include the public sector here, and increasing levels of entrepreneurship, public or market, contributes to resilience because it contributes to more knowledge, more engagement, more resources, better managing in crisis. Even though the idea of the triple helix and the notion that collaboration, including universities and the public and private sector, is by no means new, there's still work left to be done, not in the least in sectors where decisions have to be made under uncertain and ambiguous conditions, namely during crises. Higher education institutions and enterprises have different cultures and different time horizons. Whereas the academic culture encourages openness in the name of knowledge accumulation and progress, enterprises tend to be more guarded in an effort to monetize knowledge. Whereas researchers are motivated to share and publish new findings, enterprises may shy away from publications. Having said that, corporate culture is increasingly embracing openness, while universities are realizing they need a way to make their findings more socially relevant. And an avenue for this may be to ensure societal application through their commercialization of results. Despite the consensus that collaborations between universities and enterprises, and for this, again, I include the public sector, are desirable, there exist institutional barriers alongside enablers when it comes to their success. As part of research conducted in the first work package of the SECRA project I just mentioned, I would like to present some results when it comes to university enterprise collaborations in Asia in general, or the 3 Asian countries, Thailand, Philippines and Sri Lanka, and really focus on Sri Lanka with some preliminary results. These results come from data collected through surveys sent to partner universities in these 3 countries. These surveys had different parts. The first part of the questionnaire was aimed at university leadership, what we call institutional landscape, whereas the second survey, which was done sequentially, was aimed at understanding the perception of faculty members, academic staff. So I will start with the first part. 62 questionnaire responses, we received 62, of which 59 were retained once an exclusion criterion was applied to these. This was to remove duplicates, no consent, and incomplete responses. Of the 59 completed responses, we had 17 from Thailand, 20 from Sri Lanka, and 22 from the Philippines. So this questionnaire had different parts in it. Some items were drop-down boxes where we knew what we were asking people, and some were open. Our goal was to understand what was going on with UECs. So there was a lot of free text that we coded afterwards. So this was very much an inductive approach. So going from the data upwards. And this is why we use a thematic analysis really to identify factors that hinder and that on the other hand foster university enterprise collaborations. Things that came up, and again, this is an interpretation of the data, very qualitative. Well, not very, but a qualitative inductive approach. 4 main things came up. Administrative factors, and those are both for enablers of collaborations and factors that hinder collaborations. We had the administrative groups, so structural issues, things that actors don't have much control over. And that would be university policy, administrative support, rules and regulations, leadership, and autonomy. Financial issues, I'm sure you all recognize that. This comes to material stuff, budget, infrastructure, equipment. Cultural things, what we call relational. So this is about how people work together, communication, fostering relationships, trust, networking, cultural differences, whatever that entail, and capabilities or capacities, incentives for staff to collaborate, capabilities, interest, physical location, and the elephant in the room, the pandemic. When it comes to enablers, here I will talk about the top 5 factors that were reported as enabling UECs. When it comes to Sri Lanka specifically, 53% of the answers mentioned cultural, relational issues, and I think that was the case overall as well. Capabilities of capacities came second, administrative next, and financial was the last issue that was mentioned by the respondents. So you can see the importance of relations between actors and groups. But there were barriers as well to UECs. And again, I think you can see that this is the other side of the coin. Most of the responses that we got, 59% noted that there are barriers. Some people said there weren't any. And you might recognize this also, that the main theme was that the main barriers were administrative, where bureaucracy was a major sub-theme. And I will say here, I live and work in Sweden. I can say that bureaucracy is also and administrative issues are a hinder here as well. We always run up to these things. Specifically in Sri Lanka, 59% of the participants said that there were barriers to university enterprise collaborations. And again, we're looking at administrative and bureaucracy. Funding was also mentioned as a theme when it comes to barriers. Now, again, remember this was the survey that was sent to the university leadership. We asked if support was provided to staff to collaborate with external partners. And you can see here what the leadership reported that support is given to staff. If we take Sri Lanka, internal funding was the first, and that's the same across the universities really. Administrative support at the university and faculty level, work time allocated to staff, events. What was less mentioned was a dedicated website for external contacts, and no support was mentioned by 6 respondents. As I said, and I will show you a few more results in a little bit, we sent the same questionnaire to staff as well. And again, this is perceptions of people. It doesn't mean that people did not tell the truth or they didn't know. It means that they have a different perception of what is going on. And you can see the percentages vary here. Obviously, this was not the entire population of the university. This was a purposeful sample. So take the percentages for what they are at face value. You can see here that the perceptions are different. Again, you see that issue of you see administrative support at the faculty level. Internal funding was less mentioned than previously. Work time allocated to UECs, people mention that they get this. Dedicated website for external contacts also came last on the list. So here you can see the difference between the perceptions of leadership and staff. The thing that we would like to note here is that managers are more likely to report internal funding than staff members. That might be something to look at. Maybe people are not aware that there is internal funding for stuff like that. So this may very well be a communications issue more than anything. Some things that we draw from this institutional landscape. So what does leadership have reported in this? Again, the main things were administrative, financial, cultural, and capability that mapped. That also came from a literature review. There are barriers to university enterprise collaborations. By no means, not everybody reported that. In Sri Lanka, the main issue that was highlighted was funding and material resources. Again, bureaucracy is also a problem. This comes from all of our partner countries. Too many documents, takes time for administrative activities, and so on and so forth. Right. I will just say a few words on the university side of the questionnaire. That was filled by academics and staff. You can see here we're reporting on 63 responses from Sri Lanka from the 3 universities. Not everybody reported that barriers were faced, but quite a lot, more than 50%. I have a better slide for different barriers here. Most of the barriers reported by university were structural as well, so administrative, university policy, and administrative support. Financial or other cultural, you see the other side of the coin here. What helps UECs also hinders it. So you can see the importance of communication, having shared goals, trust, and this idea of networking that might be facilitated by administrative support, for example. All these things are interrelated. Enablers then of UECs, I will again draw your attention to Thailand, to Sri Lanka. Administrative support is listed as very important. Teaching time allocated to staff. So interrelated things with administrative and relational issues being viewed as important. So I've told you all of these things. We talked about governance, good governance, entrepreneurs, collaborations. So what? I would like to conclude here by addressing this question and hope that I haven't bored you to tears with this. I will circle back really to the beginning of my talk today and say that a good governance and a networked approach is the best bet we have to manage successfully during a crisis, including this one really. Inclusion of a multitude of actors has the potential to promote not only innovation, but also resilience. And thank you very much for your attention. I really, really appreciate being here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor, for your valuable words and also for sharing your experience. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, in honoring that, now it is the time to present the token of appreciations to the people who have extended their tremendous contributions towards the International Conference on Business Management. First, on behalf of the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, and also on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to express our heartiest gratitude to Professor Evangelia Petroudou for the enormous support given to us as the keynote speaker of today's inauguration ceremony. And since, as you all aware, Sri Lanka is well ahead of nearly 4.5 hours ahead of Sweden. So thank you very much, Professor, for joining us so early in the morning. So the first token of appreciation goes to the Professor Evangelia Petroudou, and since she's not here, I would like to mention that her token of appreciation will be couriered to her in due course. Thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. You're so kind. And I was, again, very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Professor, and have a great day. Also,
You too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, before marking the closure of today's inauguration program, I would like to make a special mention of two very important people who contributed immensely for the success of the previous 17th International Conference on ICBM. This is none other than the co-chairs of the 17th ICBM, Professor Anil Fernando and Dr. Kingsley Karunaratne. I would like to kindly invite the both of you to please step forward to accept our humble token of appreciation. To give away the honors, I would like to most cordially invite the Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, Professor P.D. Nimal.
Thank you very much, dear sirs. Moving from that, may I cordially call upon Ms. Shehani Shanika, Secretary, ICBM 2021, to propose vote of thanks, officially marking the end of the ceremony. Dear Miss, please proceed to the podium.
Honorable Chair, University Grants Commission Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Sudhantha Liyanage. Professor P.D. Nimal, Dean, Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce. Our most valued keynote speaker, Professor Evangelia Petroudou from Mid-Sweden University, Sweden. Distinguished council members, deans of faculties, professors, heads of departments and unit coordinators, distinguished academic staff, administrative staff, other invited guests, and all invitees who have joined via Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly my privilege to have been given this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks at the inauguration ceremony of the 18th International Conference on Business Management, ICBM 2021, of the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. I, on behalf of the organizing committee, would like to extend our richly deserved gratitude to Professor Evangelia Petrido of Mid-Sweden University for your distinguished presence here with us today as the keynote speaker. We gratefully acknowledge your invaluable contribution to the ICBM 2021 in further enlightening and expanding our understanding on the unprecedented turbulence we find ourselves in the present and on the ways to brace for such challenges in the future. We would like to express deep gratitude to Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga, the Honorable Chair, University Grants Commission, for your continuous support and guidance from the very inception. And thank you very much, sir, for the best wishes and encouraging words for ICBM 2021. I would like to express our profound gratitude to you, sir. We, as the organizing committee, are truly obliged to Senior Professor Sudhantha Liyanage, the Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, for the constant support and encouragement we received from you to make this event a success. Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us today. We wish to extend our sincere gratitude and heartfelt appreciation to Professor P.D. Nimal, Dean, Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce. Your direction and encouragement persuaded us to push our limits to raise the bar for the highest academic standards in ICBM 2021. We're truly grateful to you, sir. Further, on behalf of the organizing committee, let me record our heartfelt thanks to all academic staff members, senior professors, including Senior Professor H.D. N.P.O. Pather, heads of departments, coordinators of units, and junior staff members who were always ready to lend a hand like one united family. Next, permit me to mention our sincere appreciation to reviewers, session speakers, session chairs, and paper presenters. Your conscientious efforts and commitment to academic excellence ensured the high academic standards envisaged through ICBM 2021. Next, let me record our sincere appreciation to the Department of Information Technology Resource Center, and all the technical officers. Their untiring efforts have made this conference a possibility during these tiring times. Thank you very much for being so patient and understanding with all of us. I wish to extend heartfelt thanks to the librarian, assistant librarian, the bursar, assistant bursars, the registrar, assistant registrars, and the administrative staff of the university and the faculty for their unstinting support to the ICBM 2021. Also, we would like to acknowledge our gratitude to the sponsors and other organizations who contributed in numerous ways to make this event a success. Further, we are happy to mention the contribution provided by the University Grants Commission in organizing ICBM 2021 successfully. I should also express my gratitude to the Director, Postgraduate Institute of Management for their kind financial assistance for the event. Our sincere thanks goes to MBA MSc unit for funding the conference and the support given throughout. We're thankful to all departments contributed and granted enormous support for the successful ICBM 2021. Further, we are happy to mention the contribution provided by the PhD unit in organizing PhD colloquium successfully. Our special thanks goes to Emerald Publishing for the academic partnership and collaboration maintained with ICBM 2021. There are about 200 participants who have joined the inauguration ceremony virtually. Thank you very much for joining us today. We hope that you will actively participate to share your insights in different events and enjoy an immensely rewarding experience. Last but not least, the organizing committee, us. A very big thank you to us, the organizing committee. The co-chairs led us through example, effective leadership and continuous engagement, and we all followed it. Here we are today having surmounted all the challenges we encountered till this very day. We have made it. Congratulations and thank you everyone. Let me wind up by saying thank you to all of you on behalf of the ICBM 2021. Wishing you a fruitful, inspiring day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shanika. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, we have now moved towards the end of the inauguration ceremony. Now it is the time to chant the everlasting rhythm of our mother nation. Ladies and gentlemen, to wind up the inauguration ceremony, please rise for the national anthem.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This officially marks the conclusion of the inauguration ceremony of the 18th International Conference on Business Management. At the conclusion, we would like to make some special announcements. For our physical participants, we have arranged for a short refreshment, which you may enjoy just outside the hall. And the virtual participants also, we invite you to take a short break and join with our technical sessions, which will be proceeding from 11 a.m. going on until 6 p.m. today. And we would also like to make special announcements that in line with the 18th International Conference on Business Management, there will be 4 key events happening tomorrow. The PhD Colloquium taking place at the Senate Hall of the Administrative Complex of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. The knowledge sharing session by Emerald Publishers happening via Zoom tomorrow, and also the announcement of the Best Paper Awards of today's technical sessions taking place at 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. We invite you to join with that as well. And the Business Forum, the flagship event of the 18th ICBM, happening at the Senate Boardroom Administrative Complex of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. And you have the convenience of joining with all these events at the convenience of home via Zoom. And also don't forget to log into the SARC Leaders Forum happening at 7 p.m. tomorrow, where you can join with all these events via Zoom. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a very supportive audience, having supported us in the small technical hiccups that we had in the way as well. So we wish all of you a great day ahead. Thank you very much.